Hello, welcome to Signal Boost and my hair today. I don't know what's happening with this, but it's wavy and frizzy and down and it is what it is today. So on Signal Boost, if you remember from other videos, we're here to talk about products from companies owned by people of color, and I have a treat for you today because we have, the other day I did a video featuring Reina Rebelde's 4-play wet dry eyeshadow palette in Azteca, which is here. And I used this shade here just as a very brightening lid shade for a really casual toned down weekday look. But today I want to show you my very favorite shade from this palette, and you can see it has the biggest dent in it. It's this one here, and it's because it is the most incredible color, and I don't think it has a name. I don't think she named these colors, but this is just, it's this amazing, I mean, Azteca is a really good name for this because this is a very like South American, Southwestern, Mexican kind of like landscape space, shade. Not that all of Mexico is the same landscape, but that part of Mexico, sort of northern Mexico, and like the north west of Mexico, that's just very mountainous, and there's lots of desert land. This is very makes me think of that. So this is really beautiful color, and I'm gonna stop talking so much about it and we'll get into it. So I'm gonna do an eye look that only uses this shade, and I will show you why we only have to use one. I'm really a fan of one and done eyeshadow looks. Normally I would just do the heaviest distribution. I would start here on my outer lid, and I would just deposit most of the color here and then gradually move it in. I'm going to do that here today, but usually what you get when you do that is a very gradient effect. And there's not much, you can blend it out for a transition, but it's really all one color. It's just different concentrations of color. This is very different because we have a couple of different colors working on here. So I'm going to swatch it for you and make sure that I am talking about the right one here. Let me make sure that, oh no, maybe it's this one. Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm gonna do a bigger swatch here. The swatch really doesn't show what it's going to do. That you will see in the application. Actually, the finger swatch is maybe a little better. So see, it's kind of this coppery. It has copper, it has kind of a red undertone with orange shift, and it's like purple and copper and red, and all that's going to show up. And here's the arm swatch. And as I move it in the light, you'll be able to see that there's kind of a little bit of a shift going on. I mean, the overall effect is it's a nice, warm, rusty, bronzy kind of color. But it does a lot of other kind of cool things on the lid. This particular shade in this palette is best used wet. The one we used the other day, this peachy shade, you can use very easily dry. This really dark one here, I have found better luck using it wet, but I usually just use it for liner or for like a very little bit on the outer V because it's on my skin tone, it's very dark. But this one, we really need to wet the brush for it because there is, when used dry, there is a ton of fallout. So I'm just gonna grab like a drop of water. I don't have a spray bottle right now, just currently don't have one. So I'm gonna use a little drop of water in my hand. I'm gonna dampen my brush, just kind of using this flatter domed brush, and I'm going to grab some of that pigment, and I'm also wearing the Vesca Beauty bronzer that I put on for the first time in my last makeup video. Anyway, so I'm going to start the same way I start all one and done eyeshadow looks, and I'm going to start on the outer corner here. Very, very strong application. But I'm just going to pat it, and I'm using less and less pressure as I move towards the inside of the lid. And I'm going to go back here to deposit extra in the outer corner. And I'm going to spread it up just a little bit above my crease, because when I close my eyes are becoming more hooded as I age, and I want to be able to see just a little bit over. And I'm going to blend it. And the blending is really where the magic happens with this shade. All right, and see there's a little kick up, so I'm going to give it a little blow, and I'm going to go to the other side of my brush and pick up some more for the other eye, which is always much harder for me. Much harder to see, much harder to control. That's life. And this eye has a completely different like set of characteristics and shape than the other one. Well, not completely different shape, but enough to like to affect application. And I think that that's pretty normal. So again, I'm concentrating on this outer V area, and then I'm patting it gently as I move in. And from this angle, I'm seeing more of the purples coming in. I feel like this is a little bit lighter of an application than the last eye, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit more. My brush is still very damp to this outer portion. Yep, and move that up. So there we have, I've laid down a base of color for both sides. And this is where the magic happens. So that's starting to dry down a little bit. And what I'm going to do is take this fluffy brush and I'm going to start to blend it up. And I'm just going to go at that border. See, you see it's already starting to change color. I hope you can see that. I'm going at the border between where the shadow is and the shadow isn't. And what it's doing is it's pulling out that red, that rusty red orange color. I'm going to try to get my eye in the right spot for you. So you're already seeing that what's happening here is that the purple, the dark purple, kind of almost gray purple metallic shade is staying on my lid where it's thick, and where I'm blending it up, I'm getting this nice red rusty color. And so the effect is, and I'm going to clean off my brush, make sure there's absolutely nothing on it, and continue to blend and go now at the border between what's blended up and my brow. And the effect is, even though it's one eyeshadow, it honestly looks like at least two, if not more. And I just love that. And this was super quick to do too. It's not, I'm explaining it really carefully so that you can do it too. But this is really, it wasn't difficult to work out, to figure out. I just pretty much did what I normally do and applied eyeshadow and then started blending it. And I just saw how cool it was and how easy it blends up. It doesn't disappear on those areas that I started blending up. It just kind of it almost takes off that purpley part and just leaves behind that rusty. So it's just a beautiful, I was feeling very dull today because I just have this really basic, neutral, warm leaning lipstick on, and I have my bronzer, which is a great, warms up the face. I have this like shimmery peach blush, but I was feeling, I've got a yellow shirt here, I have gold jewelry, and I was feeling kind of washed out and not as defined as I wanted to be. And I just knew that this was going to be the right eye look for today. And you can put more on and zhuzh it up. You can put more on the corners here. This is just like a weekday look, even though I don't have any Zoom meetings. I don't want to do anything dramatic. But so this is just a real simple kind of look. And I'm going to reach over and get an angled brush because I think we're going to do some liner and just grab a little bit more of that water that I have. And I'm not dipping my brush into it because that would be way too much water. I'm just putting a little on my wrist and dipping my brush into it. And I think I'm going to go with this really dark color. There's some sparkles in it. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can kind of see some little gold sparkles, but on my eyes it mainly just looks really dark. So I'm going to tight line with that. And again, just help define my features a little better, because my features all kind of run into each other. I have light eyes, I have light skin, and aside from my freckles and probably sun damage from when I wasn't as good about sunscreen breaking things up, and my bushy dark eyebrows, I don't get much definition. So there we have, and it's kind of a subtle difference, but tight lining just adds a little there. And I might line, I think I'm going to line just right here at the outer third, and I'm just dabbing the tiniest bit for a little, just a tiny bit of dimension. You can see there's a little bit of creasing here, and that is because I did not prime in any way. I have super oily lids, plus using wet shadow, that's not uncommon, unexpected, not a problem. I honestly, it's only visible if I were to stand in front of you like this really closely, which other than a makeup video, I'm not going to do in real life. So I'm not that concerned about it. What I'm concerned about is the whole effect that when I look at myself in the mirror, and when I'm just enjoying the aesthetic experience of wearing makeup, that's what I want to see. I want to see that gradient, that the outside is a little darker than the inside here. In fact, I might just add a tiny bit more since we're in video and we're kind of having fun here. I might just dab. My brush is still kind of damp, so I might just dab a little bit more on those outside corners to just amplify the effect. So we have darker out here, it goes lighter, and then you have, basically it creates its own transition shade, which I think is so cool. Don't you think that's cool for one shadow to do that? I think it's just really, really fun. This peachy shade you could use as an inner corner highlight, but I think you would have to have darker skin tone for that to be true. When I use this as an inner corner highlight, it kind of almost makes me look a little bit sick because it's just too peachy for me. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. Sometimes I actually use this as a highlight. I'm not going to do that today because I already have kind of a sparkly satiny blush. But anyway, here is the finished eye look. Come up and let you just kind of look at how that shifts. It's so beautiful. And now I feel more like I've got some contrast. I have some interest to my face here. I'm just not looking at an expanse of these light warm colors, but I have this deepening and smokiness, and we're kind of playing with warm and cool a little bit here. And yeah, I think I'm going to have a better, more interesting afternoon, because when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm going to have something interesting to look at. Not me, but my artistry on my face. So anyway, just a quick one and done with this Reina Rebelde 4Play wet dry eyeshadow palette in Azteca that I've had a couple of years, and I absolutely love it. My experience of it is very positive, and honestly, I haven't stopped finding ways to use it. It looks like, I don't know, it looks kind of basic, but then when you start to play it with it and you see the possibilities, it really, it's a lot of fun for a quad. I feel like there's a lot more that you can do in here than you would imagine just looking at it straight away. So anyway, that is the eye look, and I hope you check out Reina Rebelde. I'm probably totally butchering that pronunciation, but I'm really trying. I'm not a Spanish speaker, and probably at least once a day I wish I were a Spanish speaker between my nonprofit work and just, you know, the world we're growing up in, or that I'm not growing up, but the world we live in and the culture we live in my state where a lot of people speak Spanish. I just wish I did. Anyway, Have a wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever time it is for you. And if you're going through a hard time, hang in there. And if you need any support, just tell your story in the comments and somebody will listen to you. So anyway, take care, drink water, take a nap if you need it and you can, and I will see you next time.